If you go on Google Trends and you type in tarot, you might notice an interesting correlation. Every time there is a widespread societal challenge, online interest in tarot rises. Following the 2008 financial crisis, searches for tarot rose, and during the COVID pandemic, tarot became more popular than ever.
NBC Bay Area's Jonathan Bloom has more on a San Francisco pop-up tarot card reader that's doing it all from a distance.
But this isn't your grandma's tarot. This tarot is online, like everything else.
If you're seeing this reading, it's probably meant for you.
For some of you, this is the calling that you've been feeling all along.
So this is a win-win-win.
The chariot represents progress being made through balancing opposing forces.
What I find particularly interesting about all of this is that tarot was always a rather personal, one-on-one experience.
You have this energy inside of you to do anything you want. Like, any possibility is yours.
You want to have your tarot read, so you go to someone who can read tarot, and you sit down with them, and they do your reading.
Like, what if I died today? People would not maybe have nice things to say.
What have you done? But now, tarot readings are a whole genre of content on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram Reels, and wherever else has video.
Oh, well, I watched this TikTok and it contradicted this other TikTok and this, and it's like, girl, you don't need to deal with that.
And now there's tarot decks for virtually every conceivable interest. Sure, you got your classic tarot decks, but what about for people who are into the Marvel movies? Well, now Iron Man can tell you to believe in yourself. If you don't, who will? It's good advice, Iron Man.
I was trying to find the silliest possible tarot decks. So these are from the TV show Supernatural.
Yes, I love it.
So how did we get here, and what's changed? And what can I, a firm non-believer, get out of an experience requiring a rather large leap of faith?
Oh yeah? I'm gonna play my best card! The devil.
Along the way, we'll talk to an expert who will read my tarot.
I don't predict the future with tarot. A lot of people think that you can predict everything with this, but no.
And I'll see if I can learn how to read tarot for others to help me better understand how tarot took over the world. Have you ever done tarot before? No? Let's tarot. Hi, I'm Dylan, and this is Not Exactly Normal. And today, we're talking about tarot. It's a tarot card, in case you were wondering. Specifically, this tarot card, the Fool. Symbolism. A lot has changed for tarot since its inception. The exact origins of tarot cards are unknown, but the earliest surviving partial deck is this one from 15th century Italy, whose name I absolutely can't pronounce.
Visconti Sforza.
This deck here is one of the oldest full decks that you can still get in print. It's called the Tarot of Marseille, and you might notice a few small differences from some of my other tarot decks. This deck, which is from the 1500s, shockingly does not feature She-Hulk. I know. Though we could probably just sort of slip her in there. So your reading would be, we got the Queen of Swords, King of Swords, and then She-Hulk. So, just a classic tarot spread. Oh, I liked She-Hulk. It was a fun show. Everyone was mean about it. Tarot actually started out as a card game, and for many, it still is.
I'm going to play Lionhead Double Cup. Oh. Go!
There's a lot of different games that you can play with a tarot deck, including French tarot, Tarocchini, and an Austrian tarot game that has a name I can't pronounce.
Königgriffen.
These are all trick-taking games, sort of similar to Hearts, but played with a full tarot deck.
Wow, he's doing well.
I love this game.
In fact, there is a competitive league of French tarot in France that has had tournaments every year dating back to 1973. Apparently, French tarot is actually one of the most popular card games in France. I wasn't able to find a particularly good source to back that up other than one survey that had like 500 responses. So if you live in France and you play French tarot or know someone who does, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to better understand the scope of its popularity there. Collin won one trick that entire game.
Whatever. My revenge is that my audio levels are going to be wildly inconsistent.
Modern tarot decks are often quite decorative and elaborately designed, meaning that they can be a bit hard to play games with, as you can't often tell at a glance what suit or numbered card you're looking at.
Though I soon learned that even classic tarot decks can be pretty hard to read, and if you want to play French tarot, you should probably use a deck designed for playing French tarot, like this one.
Yeah, I guess I probably
What's the challenge?
Why do I only have 3 suits? Though you still totally can play any of these tarot games with any tarot deck if you try. It just might not be that smooth. I don't know where all my wands are. Tarot originated in Italy as a parlor game for the elites, and they would commission artists to create custom art for the decks. Not that dissimilar from tarot today, just without Etsy handling shipping. Each deck is made up of 78 cards, with 56 of them being divided up into 4 suits: swords, wands, cups, and pentacles. These are called the minor arcana, and they're numbered 1 or ace through 10, plus 4 face cards: a knight, a knave, a queen, and a king, or a page in this case. So far they're looking pretty similar to a regular deck of cards.
Oh yeah? Well, suck on this! Queen of Pentacles!
But there's also a 5th suit called the major arcana, which is made up of 21 uniquely illustrated cards that used to be called triumph cards, as well as one card called the Fool. You can see where we got jokers and trump cards for a regular deck of cards.
Why is the devil not better? The devil seems like he should be second best.
I agree.
He got beaten by so many other cards. I was like, oh, the devil will really win it for me.
Tarot remained just a game for a really long time, and it wasn't until around the 1800s that things started to get a bit strange. And in hindsight, I'm kind of surprised that it took so long for the occult to become associated with tarot. Just looking at the Tarot Marseille, a lot of the cards just feel very occult. A lot of their designs were inspired by Egyptian and Greek mythology, as well as Christian imagery. There's a creepy as hell death card, a spooky devil card, there's a surprising amount of nudity on the cards, and just a lot of just general weirdness.
That is creepier than a regular skeleton because there's skin on it still. Yeah.
And a little dress.
And hands are coming up.
It's a really cool deck, and I'm not at all surprised people saw them and, prescribed them supernatural powers.
I don't know why people would ever want these used to tell their fortunes. These seem like only bad things.
So how did this leap from game to divination happen? Was it people like me thinking, oh, these look spooky? Or was there something else going on? Well, first, I wanted to get a sense for the tarot experience before it became what it is today. So let's play some French tarot. Well, so we're not doing fortunes. Today what we're doing is a card game. So this is a game we're playing called French Tarot. It's supposedly the 2nd most popular card game in France.
Or it's not a drinking game.
Wait, are we supposed to get hammered?
Dylan from the future here. I did a really bad job when we were playing French Tarot of explaining the rules very concisely in a way that would work for camera.
You tried your best.
I'm very bad at game explaining.
Yeah, your notes suck, bro.
You're so not invited to my next French Tarot. So I'm just gonna do it now. So French Tarot is a standard trick-taking game where you lead a suit and others follow and they try to top it to win the trick. And if they can't follow suit, they can play one of their major arcana cards, which are trump cards.
Oh yeah? I'm gonna play my best card! The devil.
At the start of the hand, players bid on 6 extra cards called the chien or the kitty. All right, does anyone want to bid on the kitty?
Yeah, I'll bid on the kitty.
And depending on how high your bid is, the kitty can be added to your hand or their point values can work for or against you at the end of the round. Do you want to do petite, guard, or guard at kitty, guard against kitty?
On guard.
Petite. Okay, petite. Anyone get a outbidder? Whomever bids the highest for the chien or the kitty gets to go it alone, while the others have to form an impromptu team to play against them.
What does that mean?
Do you want to go it alone, or do you want to be on the team?
I don't know if I want to be on your team.
The person who takes the chien, called the taker, needs 56 card points to win. So you get those, and then you can pick them up and then discard 6 cards. The scoring is pretty complicated. It involves point multipliers, cards that lower your victory threshold, as well as bonuses, so I'll save that for the end. Also, we're not playing with bonuses. All right, now back to the game.
I will play the tower. For the people at home, people are falling out of the tower and dying.
Oh, Kay takes it.
What?
X-rated card?
Queen of Pentacles? No! Sorry, my alarm's going off. King of Pentacles! Oh. Yes!
Wow.
Collin gets the trick.
Yes! So is the kind of name of the game just always play your highest card?
Yeah.
The moon! Beat that! Is that better than the moon? The sun?
Sun beats the moon, baby.
Man, that's not fair! That's how I
It's
thought.
not your turn.
Sorry.
All right, play man paddling boat with swords in it for some reason.
Why are the swords just sticking out of the boat?
Sticking out of the boat, so we for sure
They're
sing.
plugging the holes.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
The very holes they caused.
Ace of Wands.
That's a really bad card.
Oh, sorry. Oh, it's too late. I already played it.
King of Swords. Knight. That's actually a knight. Sorry. I hope that everyone appreciates at home that I'm announcing every card like this is Yu-Gi-Oh.
The devil.
Oh, but you actually won with the devil, which is not fair because I was so excited when I got the devil. I'm like, this is gonna be everything, and there's like 6 cards better than the devil. King of Cups. Yes. I finally get this game. Bout card. What does bout do again?
It lowers the amount of points you need to win.
So that's just a low trump card, but if you win with it.
Yeah, it lowers the threshold of cards you need to win.
Interesting.
Last hand.
I'm gonna really blow your mind with this one. 7 of Cups.
So you got 29 points for your cards. You need 41 to win. So 25 plus 29 is
51.
51. So you won.
54.
Good job.
Okay, Dylan from the future here, just jumping in. I spent the morning relearning how the scoring works for French Tarot because it's weirdly complicated. And I'm sorry to say, Kate, you didn't actually win.
God, I don't even know what that means.
So when you take a bid or a contract, what you're doing is saying you're gonna win that many card points. And if you don't, you lose. And then all the calculations after that are just how much you lose by and how much your opponents win by. Alexa, what's 294 times 3?
294 times 3 is 882.
So you have negative 882 points.
So in Kate's case, she had 29 card points, but she had a minimum card threshold of 41 points. This is because she had 2 boo cards, so it lowered the threshold of victory from 56 to 41.
No one knows what's happening.
So with that, she's 12 points shy of meeting her bid or her contract, meaning she loses. So all of the calculations now are to determine how much points she's gonna lose by, basically.
Hey everyone at home. So if you're confused, you should rest assured we're equally, if not 10 times more confused.
So to do that, she gets 25 points for having taken the contract or the bid. So she gets 25 plus the difference between the minimum points to win and how many card points she actually got. So in that case, those two numbers add up to 13. So Kate gives each of her opponents those 13 points. So Sam, Collin, and I each get 13 points, and Kate loses by 39 points. So she has a negative score of 39, and we each have a positive score of 13. This is because it's a gambling game, so if you think about it in terms of money, Kate's giving us each $13, meaning that she's in the whole $39. So I hope that's more clear. I definitely understand how it works now, and I'll do a better job next time. Now back to Kate thinking she won. Sorry.
Tarot
We
Queen.
lost.
Hi, I'm Kate. And I won.
So how did tarot go from a weirdly complicated parlor game to a tool used in divination? Well, the answer starts with this. Depending on who you ask, playing cards likely originated in China around the 900s and didn't make their way to Europe until around the 1300s, though their exact origins remain a mystery. Tarot is one of the first popular card games in Europe, but with their complicated designs, they were hard to reproduce. Enter the standard playing card. Though it would take many, many years for playing cards to become standardized like they are today, and for a really long time, different card makers all used different types of cards, different number of suits, and even different total number of cards in a deck. So this is the only deck of cards that I have in the house for some reason, and it's from VidCon, I think in 2013. It was the 5th one. It's the only one I ever went to. I met Hank Green, and what else did we do? We got kicked out of a YouTuber party, and by kicked out I mean they wouldn't let us in because we were not famous enough. Regular playing cards predate tarot cards in Europe by a few years. Originating in Renaissance France, they quickly spread across Europe because they were super easy to reproduce, and thus could be played by almost anyone. As you've probably already noticed, playing cards share a lot of similarities with tarot cards. There's 4 suits, there's 3 face cards per suit, there's a joker card, and many different card games use trump cards. Cards got so popular that the church, as well as various governments, started to ban them. In 1376, a card game called Knave was banned in Florence, and in 1396, Paris banned the playing of card games on weekdays. But when the bans stopped working, governments realized that they could have a new potential source of revenue, and soon the taxes and fines started.
One of the strategies that the British government came up with in order to generate revenue from this newfound popular pastime was to regulate the Ace of Spades. Only the tax office could print the Ace of Spades, and they came up with more and more elaborate templates for the print to make it harder and harder for card makers to forge. If you wanted to have an Ace of Spades in your deck of cards, you had to go to the tax office and have them print it for you. And if you were caught forging the Ace of Spades, the consequences could be dire. In England in 1805, one man was sentenced to hang to death after he was caught forging the Ace of Spades for his card business. While regular playing cards flourished, they pushed tarot cards out of the spotlight. And soon, what was once a popular game for the elite became a somewhat obscure pastime from years gone by. And this is when tarot grew in popularity with occultists. The Black Death, having killed around 50 million people in Europe from 1346 to 1353, had a lasting impact on the art of the time. Death became a rather prominent theme in the art world. Here you can see Death playing chess with a dude in a mural from 1480. Here you can see Death, or Deaths, gloriously dancing around in 1493. And here you can see Death beating a crotch drum in 1538. I just love how joyfully Death is depicted in these old paintings. It's very cute. Death was a popular theme and sometimes character, so perhaps it's not too surprising to find a similar illustration of Death in the Tarot of Marseille. Fast forward a couple hundred years and people really started getting into the supernatural. Gothic novels were all the rage at the end of the 18th century, with their macabre stories often delving into the supernatural. And then suddenly, many of the people who liked this spooky Gothic fiction started rediscovering these old tarot decks featuring illustrations of death and other creepy mythology-inspired characters, and they connected with them, seeing a lot of parallels with their beloved Gothic fiction. It's an interesting case of older generations creating something entirely rational, and younger generations attributing the supernatural to it. Usually it goes the other way. The start of the 19th century, though, is when tarot really started to take on its modern form. It all started with this deck. After the Tarot of Marseille, this tarot deck is probably the most influential tarot deck of all time, supernatural tarot notwithstanding. This deck, called the Rider-Waite Tarot, or as it should be called, the Smith-Waite Tarot, really blew up after it was published in 1909. The deck was illustrated by Pamela Colman Smith, based on concepts from Arthur Edward Waite, and took inspiration from previous tarot decks, like the Tarot of Marseille. Here's Smith in 1897 in one of the most modern, old-timey photos I've ever seen. Seriously, why did no one smile in photos back then? That's a whole other video. Smith and Waite were both members of a secret mystic society called the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, a Mason-like group that studied the occult and is probably the single biggest influence on Western occulture. The interesting thing about the Smith-Waite deck that likely led to its massive popularity in divination over previous decks like the Tarot of Marseille is that each numbered card has a unique illustration. The thing you'll notice with the Tarot of Marseille is that the numbered cards are all basically the same in design, just with an increasing amount of icons, like a regular deck of cards, because that's how they're intended to be used. But the Smith-Waite deck is designed to be interpreted. Each card has its own story to it, consequently making it a lot harder to play cards with, albeit not impossible.
Oh yeah?
Put your
You've
pentacle
got
down.
Knight of Pentacle. How about the Magician?
You
Is
don't
that-
have any other pentacles.
I do, but
You have to play them.
is that not Pentacle? Is that not a
It's a
Pentacle?
cup.
See, that is confusing.
Why is there a Pentacle on the card then?
No, that's
Don't put
that's number one of the trump cards.
So like this one has 6 swords in it, but also this guy's got a stick. So at a first glance, I might be like, oh, is that a 1 of batons? No, it's a 6 of swords. Not ideal if you're playing a fast-paced game of Texas Hold'em, but you could do it. Why are you playing Texas Hold'em with a tarot deck? I don't know, but I would love to meet the Venn diagram of people who play Texas Hold'em and people who like tarot, and then the third circle of people who play games with tarot cards. That's my people.
Wait, by the way, he's not a wand. No, that's her. But he's like literally like Gandalf.
I can imagine tarot readings not going over nearly as well with the Tarot of Marseille deck. So you got a 4 of Cups, which is a picture of 4 cups, and a 5 of Swords, which is a picture of 5 swords. So that means you're emotionally stable yet seek conflict. Why? Because that's what the little book said. That'll be 5 francs, please. No one knows exactly why tarot became so closely associated with the supernatural, occultism, and divination, or who was first to use it in that way. But by the start of the 20th century, tarot was in full supernatural swing, and soon this would be reinforced by Hollywood somewhat misrepresenting tarot.
This is your future.
What do you say?
It saddens me to tell you, but you are in danger, grave danger.
Tarot is really more about finding perspective and understanding yourself rather than finding specific answers to problems, or as Hollywood likes to represent it, as a tool for predicting the future.
Perhaps you would like to learn your future. Just tap the card.
If you go to a tarot reader who tells you that they can predict your future, they're probably not a very good tarot reader.
You are not afraid. Oh, it's going to happen to me anyway. What's there to be afraid of? Very well.
To learn more about how tarot should actually be used, I sat down over Zoom with Cosmic Nick Criswell, a tarot influencer.
Hi, I'm Nick. I'm a tarot card reader here in Vancouver, BC, and I love all things spirituality. But I'm also like your best friend. Like, we're gonna have fun, we're gonna have a good time, but we're also gonna learn some stuff about the universe and spirituality because it's fun, and I know how much it's liberated my life, and I want to use it to help other people liberate their life too. But for real though, today we are gonna get high as f***, and we're gonna talk about tarot cards. How does that sound? Cool?
What do you think of tarot representation in pop culture? Like, I know there was some horror movie called Tarot this year that I think 4 people maybe saw.
The High Priestess is a warning to maybe slow down. She could cause you to slip up and suffer a crushing blow.
This is just something that Hollywood has always done, especially since the early 1900s to now. They just like to create this element of mystery and hysteria around it because people already have that preconceived notion, so they just really ride with it.
I read your cards. It's over.
But it's frustrating as a reader because, you know, people come in and they're like, I saw this movie, you know, I pulled the death card, like, what's gonna happen here?
In readings, death can mean the end of something or the start of something new. But in your case, it just means death.
But, you know, just understanding and awareness that these cards have deeper meaning than what they look like on the surface.
The death card is probably the one that's the most misunderstood.
All of us. We are all together in this carriage, and none of us has a future.
So death is actually just rebirth. It's a part of our spirit dying, and something new is being born again.
If you read the little guidebook that comes with your tarot deck, you'll see that death usually represents transition, transformation, or a big change in your life. I'll read you the one from the Supernatural deck. You're going through a transition that will ultimately have a big impact on your life. Change can sometimes be a challenging process, but trust the outcome will be worth it.
It's a new horizon, it's new beginnings, it's usually like a big kind of transformative card.
But in the movies, the death card always means literal death. It's often wielded by Death himself and is a prediction of death to happen to you very soon. In 1964's Mask of the Red Death, Death, played by Vincent Price, is seen holding the death card. And surprise, surprise, almost everyone dies. Sorry, spoilers, but it's like 60 years old. In 1962's Cleo from 5 to 7, the film opens with a pretty awesome title sequence showing a tarot reading. But this tarot reading was a lot different from the one that I got, and it was mostly just dating advice.
Et là, je vois une nouvelle connaissance. Vous allez rencontrer un jeune homme.
And in typical fashion, it ended with the tarot reader predicting the main character's death.
Les cartes disent la mort, et moi j'ai vu le cancer. Elle est perdue.
In 1965's Dr. Terror's House of Horrors, Death, this time played by Peter Cushing.
Who are you? If you're not gay.
Once again draws the death card in order to predict the deaths of the main characters over and over again, despite constantly putting the death card back into the middle of the deck and literally never shuffling once. He just has a deck full of death cards, a trick that would be used in another movie by a rather famous womanizing spy in order to sleep with a woman. Yes, they even made a whole James Bond movie about tarot.
You do know what the Queen of Cups means in an upside-down position.
In 1973's Live and Let Die, Roger Moore's James Bond attempts to rescue a tarot reader named Solitaire for some reason, played by Jane Seymour, from a super technologically advanced drug cartel. Solitaire uses tarot to accurately predict the future for the cartel boss, often drawing the death card in order to tell him who to kill, but since it's a James Bond movie, she also draws the lover's card, which of course means that her and Bond will sleep together.
The cards say we will be lovers.
Which they do, but only because Bond somehow acquired 77 other lover's cards and stacked the deck. Magic is real. This trend still continues today. In the 2024 horror film simply titled Tarot, one of the characters constantly draws the death card in all of her tarot readings and says, "Love will be the death of me."
What's it say?
Same thing it always says. Love's gonna be the death of me.
I mean, all of the characters ended up being hunted down by manifestations of the art on their tarot cards, but still, they did use the death card to foreshadow the death of characters at least 3 times.
I don't predict the future with tarot. A lot of people think that you can predict everything with this, but no, it's just a potential outcome based on the information that we're talking about, based on the context of the situation.
Tarot always existed on the fringes. It was never really something that people were surveyed about, and so it was really hard to know just how many people were getting into tarot. That is, until we invented a little something called the internet. Actually, we're going to need to fast forward a few years to around 2004 when Google Trends data started to become available. This was my jumping off point for the video. If you go into Google Trends and type in tarot, you'll see that following the 2008 financial crisis, interest in tarot rose and then came to an all-time high during the COVID pandemic.
It was definitely interesting starting during a pandemic. It was a lot of people coming with curiosity or, exploring more of the occult and just having more of a curiosity for it, not necessarily like fully committing to it, but just exploring that idea as a possibility.
The company that owns the rights to print the Smith-Waite deck, US Game Systems, saw their tarot sales triple in 2020. The company also said that they saw the same thing happen during the 2008 financial crisis, saying that tarot is a way for people to process fear and anxiety. Which is really what tarot is all about. Most tarot readers won't tell you that they're predicting the future, but rather helping you make sense of the world when it feels upside down.
Because I feel like people really lean on spirituality during times of intensity. And it's important to express that in any way that works for anybody, There's even Christians that do tarot. There's people from all different demographics that do it. And that's what I like about it. It's a very universal language.
As tarot has grown in popularity, so has the variety of tarot decks. There is a tarot deck for virtually every conceivable interest.
I got ones that are like pulp themed, like 50s cartoons, which are kind of fun.
If you just Google your interest plus tarot, you'll probably find a deck on Etsy, Amazon, or Kickstarter that'll suit your needs.
I want a Gilmore Girls deck. That's what I want.
I think that is a thing, Golden Girls, that's what it is.
Crowdfunding has been a major source of support for tarot artists. In the last decade, Kickstarter backers have pledged more than $21 million to tarot projects, with 69% of those pledges happening in the first 2 years of COVID. There are so many different tarot decks that MIT, yes, that MIT, built a digital archive with over 400 tarot decks in order to archive all the contemporary artist-made and independently produced tarot decks with a particular interest in radical, feminist, queer, person of color, and spiritually and religiously diverse revisions to the traditional tarot narratives and archetypes. It's pretty cool.
I was trying to find the silliest possible tarot decks, so these are from the TV show Supernatural.
Yes, I love it.
I initially bought this deck as a joke because I thought this was the tackiest possible tarot deck in existence, but I've actually come to quite like it. I really like the art style, and one cool thing that this deck does that classic purist decks don't do is that the little booklet, which normally sort of just gives you, spiritual guidance and the meaning behind the cards, in this little booklet, it offers you plot summaries and character descriptions, so if you're out of the loop on what's been going on the many, many seasons of Supernatural, this tarot deck will get you caught up to speed. I'll read you one. This is the Lover's card, which in the Smith-Waite deck is Adam and Eve, but in the Supernatural deck, it's Sam and Jessica. I'll read you what the book says. When Sam's girlfriend Jessica is killed, spoilers, Sam is faced with what is arguably the biggest decision of his life. He must decide whether to avenge her death by becoming a hunter or to choose a normal human life. The Lover's Tarot card symbolizes a major life decision or crossroad. The book is filled with these. Need to know what kind of car Sam and Dean drive? Well, don't worry. The Chariot card will remind you that Dean inherited a 1967 Chevy Impala. And this card, Temperance, which usually would just, tell you to have moderation and stuff like that, In the Supernatural deck, it says, Sheriff Jody Mills is a woman who smoothly inhabits many different roles in her life. She is a successful career woman, a fierce hunter, and a strong protective mother for her foster kids. They also changed the Fool card to the Fools and put both Sam and Dean Winchester on it. It's pretty great. The Marvel deck does a lot of this too. The Lovers card, which in this deck is Spider-Man and MJ, in the little booklet, they not only have a character recap for the two of them, but also a quote from Mary Jane on the difficulties of dating a masked superhero. He always tries to protect me. It's what he does. He doesn't understand. It's not that I don't want to be protected, because sometimes I do, but sometimes I want to protect him. And I can't do that when he's too busy protecting me. Mary Jane Watson, Amazing Spider-Man, number 511. The Marvel deck is a lot nicer than I was expecting, but I do find it a bit odd that in a comic universe absolutely filled with supernatural characters, 3 of the 4 characters they chose to feature on the box are like 3 of the least supernatural superheroes of all time. Like seriously, where's Agatha Harkness or Nico Minoru? Also, Death is an actual character in the Marvel universe, so I can't quite understand why they put Jean Grey on the Death card. Like, I get that she died. But tarot got a lot bigger in 2020 than it ever was in 2008. The reason? I'm sure you already guessed, but TikTok. Right as the world shut down and everybody downloaded the app, tarot became an entire genre of content.
Social media has given witchcraft a new lease of life on TikTok, as videos featuring the hashtag WitchTok have amassed more than 30 billion views. Is that right? 30 billion? Really? The content from the so-called Generation Hex includes performing spells, potion tutorials, tarot readings, and documenting their day-to-day lives as witches.
And suddenly, what once required a personal encounter could be fed to you by an algorithm that thinks it knows what you like.
So usually it's almost like taking a topic, like a career, for instance. They'll take an idea like, you know, maybe a change of job or a change of something, and they'll kind of play off that and maybe add some specific things.
This is the calling in your soul, no matter what you do, no matter how you try to hide.
You are beginning to set things up on how you want your life to be.
The chariot could mean possibly spinning out of control.
You deserve this, right? You deserve to fill your cup of love, and you deserve to have a full cup of love.
Since all of these cards are open to interpretation, many of these readings can apply to a lot of different people. And if you don't like yours, just swipe up to the next one and teach the algorithm what kind of reading you're looking for.
And it'll connect the dots for people, obviously, because, you know, if those readers are making it general enough to be able to do that, they'll attract those people, and then people believe it to be true. And I find that comes in when people have readings with me. They'll be like, oh, well, I watched this TikTok and it contradicted this other TikTok and this, and it's like, girl, you don't need to deal with that.
And then if you find a creator that you connect with, many of them offer personalized tarot readings over video chat, which is what I did with Nick.
So I have a couple rituals before I start my readings. So I'm just gonna light some incense here. The one I generally do is a 10-card reading, just because it gives us more context, we can dive more in. 7 of Cups. We see this person muffling a lot of decisions. They're like, which direction do I go in? Which one's gonna bring success? Which one's gonna bring negativity in my life? It's like being aware of all these different patterns and all these different choices and decisions. The time here is to slow down and to connect more to our breath, clear the smoke and mirrors. Snakes are like, life's a game of snakes and ladders. Ooh, okay, this is very interesting. So the High Priestess. So this is a very big theme, and this has to do with spirituality, open to new experiences, being open to new spiritual experiences. She's holding a scroll. I'm supposed to know everything that's underneath the scroll. And then you can go into like the pomegranates, you know, and this is the 6 of Cups. This shows me a time, not necessarily charity, but just like showing up for people in our life. 8 of Cups is very much this hermit energy. It's this person walking away from the situation. It's really just taking the time for you to connect to yourself. That's that theme of like, I'm trying to figure out what this next move is for me, but we have to slow down and let the ideas come. Aces are always beginning. It's always potential for new ideas. I have these cool ideas that no one else has, you know? It's your unique vision, really. The 10 of Swords is actually wrapping up a chapter. 10s are the end. It's just burnout energy. This is exhaustion. Like you can see, like, he's not going anywhere. We just have to embrace relaxation. Star connects to Aquarian energy, so it's very thought-based, just simply believing in yourself and just saying, you know what, like, you're the star. You have this energy inside of you to do anything you want. Like, any possibility is yours. I feel a sense from this past energy I'm seeing here. It's like scary leaps, but we're ready for it. Like, just embrace all the change right now, because you're the star and everything is working out for you. That's what I feel. Okay, so take that.
What I found really helpful about my tarot reading was that it felt like a therapy session, but with fun art and a cool supernatural theme. It's like going to medieval times. The reason you're there is the barbecue sauce, but you also get to watch dudes in armor beat the shit out of each other. As a side note, I did used to work at medieval times as a herald trumpeter. That's a story for another day, but it is how I can confirm that the barbecue sauce and not the joust is the main attraction. Trust me. With that in mind, and having learned more about tarot than I ever thought I would, I think it's time for me to do a tarot reading for someone else. I'm totally not qualified, but I've never really let that stop me before. So let's give it a shot.
Hello.
Hello.
Thanks so much for doing this with me.
Pleasure.
So I know you're a huge fan of the TV show Supernatural, so I wanted to do a tarot reading for you with the tarot cards inspired by your favorite television program.
Well, I do like Dean.
So I know I am a tarot expert now, but I might be consulting the book just a little bit.
Okay, that's fair.
/ a lot, because I may have overstated my qualifications. I hope that doesn't change your mind about participating today.
No, let's go to Bo.
We're going to do a 5-card spread.
Okay, I'm going to cut the deck.
King of Blades. So I know these, but I just want to consult with the spirits. The King of Blades reversed represents a figure much like Cain while he's under the influence of the Mark of Cain.
I've been thinking about this lately. Like, what if I died today? People would not maybe have nice things to say.
What have you done? The next card is a upright 2 of Pentacles. While trying to escape Abaddon, Sam and Dean's grandfather, Henry Winchester, ends up traveling through time from 1958 to 2015. He struggles with the decision of whether or not to return to his original time. The 2 of Pentacles indicates you're being faced with a tough decision. This card advises you that finding balance will be the key to your success.
This isn't a therapy session.
Represented by the upright 10 of Bones has been lifted. You can finally breathe a little easier with less stress in your life. Often when this tarot card comes forward in a reading, it's a sign that relief is soon to come. So I wouldn't take that to mean with your previous comment that you think you might die anytime soon, because it does sort of sound like that.
Thank you, Bones.
And in case you forgot, that character is Castiel, and he helped the Winchesters prevent the apocalypse. If you remember that episode, famous episode of Supernatural.
Yeah, Winchesters.
Again, just to show that you and I both enjoy watching on repeat.
We have the box set.
Multiple.
Yeah.
Then you have doubles. We have doubles of it.
Yeah, you got Blu-ray and regular DVD.
That way you can watch the Blu-ray and you know you're safe because you got the DVDs on the shelf.
Yeah.
Actually, I think we got triples of that one. When reversed, the affirmative message of the upright Ace of Pentagrams becomes negative. The card in this orientation suggests a new project you're planning may not be successful.
Oh God. Is this also at the wedding?
I've been meaning to tell you that. I'm leaving you. This is also not a great one. The 10 of Blades reversed represents regret and betrayal, such as being sacrificed and forgotten by your half-brothers.
It seems like he's just reading the book.
No, I've memorized it.
Oh.
I've memorized it.
Yeah.
This is just a prop.
Prompt?
So a prop.
Oh, prop.
So people won't think I'm a ringer. Adam Milligan's life is filled with painful twists of fate. After growing up thinking he's an only child, Adam discovers he has half-brothers, Sam and Dean, and is swept into their dark, complicated supernatural world. Eventually, he's sealed into Lucifer's cage, along with Michael, Sam, and Lucifer.
Yeah, that one to me, I relate to the least.
You've never been sealed into Satan's cage with Lucifer?
No.
No.
But doing a tarot reading for your fiance is one thing. Sam was obviously very patient with me, and I know her pretty well, so I was able to tune my reading to her.
Are you religious?
What is this?
But what about the ultimate subject? Someone who has questions about the fundamentals of life, like, can I have a treat? Or can I have 10 treats? Or can I have all the treats? Yes, in order to better understand the mind of my dog, I'm going to be doing a tarot reading with a deck designed for dogs. Weirdly, this deck only has 30 cards and has special major arcana cards, or major barcana cards as they call them, including the hydrant, the kibble, and the couch. But Gus isn't a tarot purist, so I really don't think he'll mind. Let's see how it goes. Have you ever done tarot before? No? Let me know which card you want, buddy. Oh, you want this card. Oh, I didn't cheat at all. So this is gonna be a 3-card reading. So this one is gonna be your goal. This one is going to be your challenge, and this one is gonna be your action. The 3 of Bowls indicates harmony, warmth, and trust in relationships. It is the card of love, faith, and hope, and suggests an optimistic, balanced outcome to the issue of your concern. What do you think about that, buddy? Your challenge, the Shelter. It's a major barcana. Shelter symbolizes hope, Gus, and it reminds us that even the worst situations can turn out for the best. Like, sometimes when you destroy a toy and then grandma sews it back together. Oh, that's a good Shelter card, isn't it? Maybe that's your challenge? Not barking when people walk in front of the door? What do you think of that? The Hydrant is the card of ultimate self-expression. Of a dog's desire to assert himself beyond human boundaries, can also indicate a clash of wills. Human on one side, canine on the other. I think this card sort of sums up all your major problems with people in the hallway. You're expressing yourself, but you also need to show restraint and respect for the other people in the building. What do you think, buddy? Can you nod your head if you think that's right? Oh, wow. And do you want to do tarot again? Oh, you didn't like it? I remain a staunch non-believer, and I don't think these cards contain anything supernatural, occult, or mystical.
Okay, everyone unsubscribe to Dylan's channel.
They're already doing it. But I do believe that they're a helpful tool for anyone looking for an alternative to traditional therapy.
This isn't a therapy session.
If tarot can help you in your life,
you have this energy inside of you to do anything you want. Like, any possibility is yours.
Then tarot is for you, and tarot works. So what should I dig into next? Please let me know in the comments, and if you like this sort of thing, please consider subscribing for new episodes of Not Exactly Normal around once a month. Also, if you did like the video, please let me know in the comments, because I want to know that I'm making the videos that you guys want to watch. If you'd like to support me and this channel, please do go check out my Patreon. I post exclusive content, behind the scenes stuff, early access to episodes, you'll get your name in the credits, and any other perks that I can come up with that I can realistically do. Your support really means a lot to me, and it means that I don't have to go get a job. Thank you so much for spending your time with me.
Hi, I'm Sam.
And I'm Dylan.
No, you're not part of this.
I'm Kate.
I'm Sam.
I'm Collin.
And that's Dylan.
And
we're Terrazos.
We're the Tarot Boys.
Why do we have to be boys?
Okay.